it's outrageous that Putin has accelerated the war. He's sticking to demands that are completely unacceptable to Ukraine. This is why Trump adjusted his approach. The Russians are not negotiating good faith. Putin's breaking his word. He's disrespecting President Trump. So Trump changed course.
Let's speak to Fred Fleitz, Vice Chairman of the America First Policy Institute, Center for American Security, a former advisor to Donald Trump in his first term. Fred Fleitz, it's great to talk to you. Thanks for joining us.
Good to be here.
Let's start with what you are calling Donald Trump's Ukraine pivot. Does that mean that Donald Trump is now firmly on Ukraine's side in a way that he hasn't been before?
I did not call it Ukraine's pivot. I said that President Trump adjusted his policy because what he was trying before was not working. President Putin was frankly disrespecting Trump. He was not keeping his promises in negotiations. And we know that good leaders will adjust and change their policies when the circumstances warrant. So Trump is turning to a tougher approach to put real pain on the Russian economy, but he's leaving the door open to diplomacy.
Right. Well, you can call it an adjustment or a pivot. I guess it doesn't matter that much. But I'm just wondering why you think there is this change. I mean, is it simply because Trump got Putin wrong?
I think some people believe that Trump is so inflexible that he won't consider other options. He gave Putin a certain period of time for negotiations, and Putin didn't cooperate. It was the same thing with Iran. He gave the Iranians 60 days to negotiate a nuclear deal, and then Trump tried another course of action. As I said earlier, this is what good leaders do. They adjust their policies when the circumstances change.
And just be clear with me about what it means in terms of military hardware. We know that Donald Trump is basically telling the Europeans to buy US Patriots and then send them to Ukraine. But is this going to go much further than Patriots? Are there going to be long-range missiles that Trump also wants the Ukrainians to pay for but will be sent to Ukraine? And how much hardware can we expect to be delivered this way?
You know, that's an interesting question. First of all, Trump is selling weapons to Europe to give to the Ukrainians because he made a promise that he would have Europe take primary responsibility for defending Europe and for the war in Ukraine. Now, the Trump White House has not denied that there may be longer range missiles in this deal. They haven't admitted it. They haven't denied it. And we know that Trump apparently had some informal discussion with Zelensky on whether Ukraine could strike Moscow from Ukraine. I don't think Trump wants them to do that, but I think longer range weapons could be in the mix in the future.
Now, another way that Trump is putting pressure on Vladimir Putin is to tell the Kremlin that they have 50 days. Well, it's less than 50 days now because the deadline's already running. But a 50-day deadline to either agree to a ceasefire and get to serious negotiation, or the United States will take new sanctions against Russia. But not only that, they'll start to impose secondary sanctions, tariffs on those key customers who buy things like Russian oil. And that would, of course, hit China and India very, very hard. He says the tariff will be, up to 100%. Do you think we really should take him seriously, that he's going to totally disrupt U.S. trading relations with China over this Russia-Ukraine issue?
I believe states that don't take Trump seriously have proven to have serious regrets. But this 50-day delay, I think, shows Trump's sincere interest in finding a diplomatic solution to this conflict. He does not want to inflict greater sanctions on Russia. He wants to find a way out, and there's going to be intense negotiations. I think there already are.
Well, with the greatest respect, Fred Fleitz, you watch the situation on the ground very closely, just as I do, and you know that there is not one sign of Vladimir Putin looking interested in negotiations, a ceasefire, or any end to this war. In fact, he has heightened the bombardment of Ukraine cities, and his forces on the Donbass front line are still taking territory. So Putin isn't interested.
I don't disagree with that. It's outrageous that Putin has accelerated the war. He's sticking to demands that are completely unacceptable to Ukraine. This is why Trump adjusted his approach. The Russians are not negotiating good faith. Putin's breaking his word. He's disrespecting President Trump. So Trump changed course.
Yeah, well, you say Trump changed course, but we know now that there are a number of people in Washington who refer to Donald Trump as the taco president because Trump always chickens out. And it may be that Vladimir Putin believes that yet again Trump will chicken out. I know
liberal journalists like saying that. I actually haven't heard that in Washington lately. We have a vibrant democracy, and people on the other side of our political system, just like in the UK, will say silly things like that. I don't think the Iranians think that.
Well, what do you think Vladimir Putin thinks? Do you think Vladimir Putin really believes that Donald Trump is going to impose these massive new sanctions, including secondary sanctions on China, if he doesn't do what Trump wants within, 40-some days now?
I think Putin probably believed he could defy Trump and get away with it. And now I believe Putin understands that there will be tough sanctions on Russia if it does not agree to come to the bargaining table and agree to a ceasefire. I don't know how effective these sanctions will be because I don't think China will stop dealing with Russia. I also believe that peacemaking takes time. And we may be looking at a couple of years before we can get Putin to come around. Bear in mind that U.S.-Russia relations were at a very bad state when Trump came into office. Biden once referred to Putin as Hamas. There was a lot of baggage to be resolved here. So realistically, we may be in for a long haul before we can stop this war.
How much of his base is Donald Trump losing as he twists and turns on foreign policy? Because, of course, he told his base that he would fix the Russia-Ukraine war in 3 days. Well, clearly that was a load of rubbish. He also...
Again...
Well, hang on. I haven't even finished my thought yet. So just bear with me a second. He also told his base he wasn't interested in applying U.S. military force in new wars overseas. Well, we've seen the U.S. Strike at Iran in a way that really upset some people inside his own base. So how much ground is Trump losing among some in his own movement?
I don't think you're listening to what I said in this interview. I said earlier that great leaders, great presidents will adapt their policies when the circumstances change.
Sure, but I'm not asking you. I'm not asking you for your analysis. I'm just saying, is Trump taking his entire movement with him?
Can I answer the question?
Go on.
That's what Trump did on Iran. His policy wasn't working, and he adjusted the policy, and I think he's going to do that with Russia. Are all of Trump's supporters behind him on this? Most of them are. I'd say the vast majority. There's a few significant outliers. But Trump said when people objected to his decision to bomb Iran, I came up with the America First approach to U.S. national security, and I decide what's in it. And that's why he made this change to attack Iran, because although he promised to keep America out of new wars, he also has always said America cannot tolerate Iran getting a nuclear weapon.
Just a final thought then. You are loyal to Donald Trump. You served Donald Trump in his first term. I just wonder whether you, and I'm thinking more politically now, whether you are worried about what the whole Epstein farrago is doing to Donald Trump and his authority. Is it something that concerns you right now?
It's a complicated issue, but not my issue.
Well, I know it's not your issue, but you, as somebody who cares about the success of the Trump administration, and could it...
It's not going to have any effect.
Not going to have any effect at all?
No, it's not going to have any effect. If there was anything embarrassing in these Epstein files to hurt Trump, the Biden administration would have leaked them a long time ago.
All right. Well, Fred Fleitz, I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much for joining us on The Times at 1.